Um, and the other person that was sort of most interesting to pinpoint for me was Felix, the monk in the Middle Ages, who has the goriest job imaginable. His monastery, their crypt, is called a putridarium, which is a certain kind of crypt where you, instead of burying the bodies, you prop them up on these sort of stone toilet seats. Um, and one monk is sent down there to watch them slowly decompose over the course of years, um, so that he can then return to the other monks and say, this is what I witnessed. I witnessed this extraordinary display of God's grace through like the collapsing of eyeballs and the like popping of inner organs. Um, and when I was reading about putridariums, I thought, okay, well, what does that kind of study do to a man? Does it turn him
That was done for like low stat? Was it a job no one wanted? Was that part? Does he relate to Priska in that way as well, as a relatively powerless figure?
Yes, and an outsider. Yeah, he's the opposite from the abbot. The abbot has all the power; he makes all the decisions. Felix makes zero decisions. But in spite of that, he is like the jolliest man and has like the best sense of humor about the human body. And that was just super fun to write about.
No, it's just such a like interesting twist on the memento mori idea, and I've never heard that exists. And part of the pleasure of the book, I admit, is also learning. I sort of feel like there's that beautiful sense of just learning about these things. But I wanted to ask you, because it touches on something I was interested in the Priska thread, which is, as you said, it's as if she has this new power, and that passage that you read is partially so moving because it seems to capture a little bit of an ambivalence, even the power to take the life away from the eel and watching that life slip away. I sort of feel like you really captured something there, and that, of course, seems to be through the entire project. So I was kind of curious how much a sense of memento mori was organizing it, either deliberately or just something that came out naturally as you followed your interest.
Yeah, I think I have always been extremely interested in death. um, and the ways in which death is also accompanied by humor and by grace and beauty and sacrifice, like noble sacrifice, not just sort of meaningless laying down of one's life. And so being able to tackle a project this big allowed me to play with a lot of those different kinds of ideas, and to sort of test my own beliefs about what happens after death, how afraid of death we should be, and the various kinds of faith that get us through that terrifying journey. From Priska, who places all of her faith in Jesus Christ, to Tom, who's a scientist who understands the natural world as this mechanism that is as omnipotent as any sort of deity might be. So the idea that some kind of belief, whether that's in organized religion or in science or in love, the belief is what sort of gives us the courage to face the inevitable death that comes for all of us. So yeah, I think in some senses the novel was kind of a playground for me to work out my own issues, which is maybe true of novels for everybody.